Okay, welcome back, and this is lesson 3. Lesson 3 is to do with the elements and qualities. Now, the 4 elements are fire, earth, air, and water. Now, fire and air are known as masculine elements, and earth and water are known as feminine elements. Now, even in elements, we can again have the duality between the positive and negative, or masculine and feminine. Now, the 4 elements in astrology of fire, earth, air, and water are known as the building blocks of life, anciently understood to reflect the soul of nature. Each element can be expressed as an energy or an archetype. Jung called them archetypes because they have been active, shaping all life on our planet since the beginning of time itself. During medieval and Renaissance Europe, the 4 elements correlated with the 4 humours for diagnosing and treating physical and mental ailments, based on the constitution of blood, either choleric, which is fire, melancholic, which is earth, phlegmatic, which is winter, and sanguine, which is air. This in turn became known as the 4 specific human temperaments. Modern day personality inventories use these 4 personality types to evaluate suitability for certain jobs and career paths. Now, when it comes to astrology, when we divide a circle of 12 parts by 3, we have the 4 elements. So again, we have fire, earth, air, and water. Now, the fire signs are 3, and they are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Now, as a group, they are known as self-starters. They have great faith, enthusiasm, excitable, and pioneers. Now, when there is too much fire, it can be quite destructive, impatient, impulsive, cause exhaustion, and overpowering. Now we come to the earth signs. They are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. They are known to be practical, have strong senses, endurance, cautious, and builders. Too much earth can make them materialistic, narrow-minded, conventional, stuck in the mud, and stubborn. Here are the air signs: Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. They are all to do with the mind, interaction with people, versatility, abstract ideas, and thinkers. Now, too much air, they can have detachment, too many ideas, quite eccentric, insomnia. They can't sleep because they're always thinking of what they want to do, and impractical. Now we come to the last lot, the water signs: Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. These are the emotional people, have empathy, very creative, secretive, and fearless. Now, what happens when there's too much water? They can be deceptive, depressive, hypersensitive, emotional storms, and quite moody. Now, what zodiac signs in the same element are all 120 degrees apart. So this aspect is called a trine, and it actually looks like a trine or a triangle. Now, this is the most positive formation known in terms of astrological aspects. Now we're going to look at these elements on an astrological dial, so we can see how the signs are placed in the wheel. And this is called the Grand Fire Trine. So let's have a look at the signs now. So we've got Aries in the 1st house, Leo in the 5th house, and Sagittarius in the 9th house. So that's a Grand Fire Trine. Now we have a Grand Earth Trine. We've got Taurus in the 2nd, Virgo in the 6th, and Capricorn in the 10th. Next one, we have a Grand Air Trine. So we have Gemini in the 3rd, Libra in the 7th, and Aquarius in the 11th. And the last lot are the Grand Water Trine, Cancer in the 4th, Scorpio in the 8th, and Pisces in the 12th. Okay, here we come to the qualities now. So when we divide a circle of 12 parts by 4, we have 3 qualities, and they are cardinal, fixed, and mutable. So have a look at what that means. Now the cardinal signs are Aries, Cancer, Libra and Capricorn. The key words for these signs are ambition, action and dynamic. The common factor of these signs, again, are enterprise, ambition and action, and their projection of energy is outward, impulsive and dynamic. Generally, cardinal signs do not get on with one another. These are known as the cardinal points when we get further into other discussions. Now, the fixed signs are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio and Aquarius. And in the Bible, they are referred to as the four beasts when you read Ezekiel and Revelations. The key words for these signs are persistence, determination, stubborn, and inflexible. Now, these signs are also known for their persistence and determination, highly resistance to change unless they have initiated them themselves. Those who are fixed need to learn to let go, as they tend to brew over things for too long. And the last ones are the mutable signs. So it's Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius and Pisces. The key words for these signs are flexible, adaptable, expressive and changeable. As a group, these signs are versatile, flexible, and actually thrive on the excitement of change. To others, they appear to lack stability, as they need constant movement and change. So you can see how totally different they are to the fixed signs. Now let's have a look at how these signs look on the wheel again. And this is now different to the trine. We're looking at the square, which is a cardinal cross or a cardinal square, a grand cardinal square or cross in the center. This again has to do with Gan's emblem, which we will explore a little bit later. So let's have a look at the signs of the points of this grand square. We have Aries, the first house, Cancer in the fourth house, Libra in the seventh house, and Capricorn in the 10th house. Now, once we go across the dial, they're always opposite. So Aries and Libra are always opposite, which is 180 degrees. And Cancer and Capricorn, the 4th and the 10th houses, are always opposite, and that's 180 degrees. But can you see how from this point here, from the 7th to the 10th, is one side of the square is actually 90 degrees. That's 3 houses apart. Okay, so one side is 90, but the whole square is called a grand square. Now let's have a look at, now these 4 points are called the 4 cardinal points. Remember we discussed this when we were looking at the sun moving every day, known as the cardinal points or the 4 seasons. And these are angular houses, which we'll get to next lesson. Now let's have a look at the fixed cross or the grand fixed square. Those signs are, the fixed signs are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio and Aquarius. Again, these are the 4 beasts in the Bible. Across the dial, Taurus is always opposite Scorpio, and you know they're 6 months apart, May, November. Leo, across the dial from Aquarius, are the 5th and the 11th house. So that's our square and our cross. I think you're getting to understand what this is all about. So sometimes you'll read books and you'll have this referred to a square or a cross. So now you can see the cross, the symbolism that we have in many cultures. Okay, and the next square is Gemini. The mutable square is Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius and Pisces. Let's put the cross in again. So Gemini is opposite Sagittarius and Virgo is opposite Pisces. So here again we've got our grand square and our grand cross. Now these signs that we've just looked at, because they form a square, which is 90 degrees apart, this aspect is called a square, and it looks like a square, and this is the most challenging aspect. So what we've looked at now is look at the square. I mean, you know, if you ever get stuck, a square looks like a box and you feel restricted and contained, whereas the trine, when they're in the same element, is positive and it looks like a pyramid. It's pointing up to the heaven and the energy flows positively. So let's just remember these 2 formations to start with being the most important for the beginning stage. So we have a square which is usually when you're looking at charts, if they're in colour, you'll see the squares are always in a red to tell you that it's sort of like, look at your traffic lights and stop, and that's what it sort of does to you. Whereas the trine and the sextiles, some of the positive aspects will be in green, and so it's a go light. Okay, think of it that way. It's an easy way to remember things. Okay, now we've reached something called the signature grid, which is basically a table that you construct. It gives you an overall reading in terms of the balance according to the elements and qualities in the natal chart. You can look at this as the foundation of the personality and the starting point of chart analysis. Now this is what the table looks like, and we have the qualities going across the top, so you get the cardinal, fixed and mutable, and along the side we get the elements fire, earth, air and water. And all the astrological symbols are in the center of the table. Along the bottom we have a rating system of points that we give to each of the points and planets, and I'll explain as we go through the exercise. So let's start. Steps to completing the signature grid. Find the ascendant. What sign is it in? Put the ascendant symbol in the appropriate box. Give it a score according to the legend. Do this again for the MC and each planet. Now we're going to go through this step by step so you understand what it's all about. And we are going to use W.D. Gann's chart for this exercise. So the first point, we need to find the ascendant. Now remember, the ascendant from lesson 1 is the point, the rising point, the ascending point. And we have a degree here, 28 Leo 42. You can see I've written that for you. Now when you're reading these degrees and minutes, the degree is always got a little circle next to it. So it's the first number you read. And then the minutes is a 39 and you get a little stroke there. Okay, so the first thing we do is we've worked out that the ascendant is in the sign of Leo. So then we find Leo in our table, which is here. And what we do is we put the symbol of the ascendant, ASC, and we need to find out what points it has. And the ascendant has 3 points, and so we write 3 points underneath the symbol. Now we'll go to the next point, which is the midheaven. Remember, it's right at the top of your chart, and usually there's an arrow pointing to it, and you can see that it's 25 Taurus 47. So what we do is we find the Taurus here and we write the symbol for the MC. We go back down to the point system, we see that the MC is 3 points, and so we put in 3. Next point is the Sun at 15 Gemini 47. So we're looking for Gemini now. Gemini is an air sign, and we need to put 3 points for that as well. I think you're getting to understand what we're doing here. Next point is the moon, and we can see the moon is at 26 Leo 39. So let's find the Leo, and we put the moon up there and 3 points for the moon as well. Next point is Mercury. Mercury is at 22 Taurus 11. You can see that. So there we go. Up there, but it only gets 2 points because we're now Mercury, Venus and Mars only get 2 points. So we've got it in the Taurus box. Now we go to Venus, which is also at 2 Taurus 53. So let's go back into the Taurus box and we put the little Venus sign and 2 points for Venus as well. Next planet is Mars, which is at 19 Cancer 44. So the Cancer box is a water sign. Let's have a look. We put the Mars symbol in there and 2 points for Mars. And next planet is Jupiter. Jupiter's at 6 Aquarius 56. And Aquarius is an air sign. So we put the symbol for Jupiter in there and number 1. We said the outer planets only get 1 point. The reason being is that they're more termed as, the outer planets are more like generational planets, and they're not as personal as the ascendant, midheaven and the sun and the moon. That's why when you actually have an accurate birth data, these sort of ratings are really quite accurate, because you know the ascendant is reflecting the actual exact time that you were born. And so when we're using, sometimes people use midday charts when they're unsure of their birth time. You can see how it's a very general way of looking at your chart. It's still quite symbolic. So let's keep going. Next planet is Saturn. Saturn's at 1 Aries 43. And we can see Aries is our fire sign, so we put Saturn and 1 point. Then we've got Uranus. There we go in Leo again, and we've got 1 point for Uranus. Neptune's in 8 Taurus 39. So we find Taurus again, and that's 1 point for Taurus. The last planet is Pluto, and you can see Pluto's right on the MC, conjunct the MC, and it's at 25, Taurus 28, another Taurus. So we've got Pluto in there as well. So now we've filled out, put all our planets in, and the next thing we have to do is to calculate the total. So we go across. For fire we get 8, for earth we get 9, for air we get 4, and for water we get 2 points. Now we go down the qualities. For cardinal is 3, fixed is 17, and for mutable is 3. So immediately you can see where the dominance is in this chart for Gan. So I've circled the 9 for earth and the 17th for fixed. So what we do now is we go across, because we've got to work out which sign it is. We've got Taurus and down, so that we just go in and across, and it gives us the sign, the signature. So what it's telling us is that in Gan's chart, fixed earth is his signature. So the chart signature is fixed earth, which equals a Taurus signature. And that shows, that's what we term in astrology having a lot of planets also in one sign is a stellium. So you can really see the dominance in his chart of the Taurian energy. Even though he's a Gemini, he would have had so much of focus and determination, and very, very stubborn. He would have been, I reckon, quite difficult to live with, but so determined, and that's why he worked and worked and worked. That's what Taurines do. Now, what you can do is if you want to and you would like to, do the same analysis for your own chart. I'm quite happy if you write to me, I will send you a copy of your natal chart, and you can go through the same process in your own chart. Now, if you find that you've got dominant fire, it's very energetic, it's heat. Now, anything that's abundant can become negative, and fire can be quite destructive, but it's also enthusiastic, spontaneous inspiration, and impulsive actions. Now, if you're trading and you've got dominant fire, it's someone who acts before he or she thinks, and would take more risk than others, because it's very impulsive and fast energy, better suited for intraday or day trading, that sort of personality. Now, if you've got dominant earth, like Gan, this is concentration of force, practicality, very strong senses, the need for stability and security, very grounded. The material world's important, and that can get stuck in the mud. So these people don't like to be told what to do. Very determined, and will do what they plan to do. Now, as an earth dominant trader, can be very careful and cautious when trading. Technical analysis and proper money management approach would suit your need for precise and practical solutions. Decisions are made more slowly, more a medium to long-term trader. But you would have to know exactly what you're doing. You wouldn't spend money without planning it all out first. You're very budget conscious. Now, dominant air, intellectual, communication, it's all to do with ideas, the need to socialize, great thinkers, creative imagination, developing concepts, and can avoid emotions. Now, a dominant air trader finds it hard to commit to a method of trading, so he or she may rely more on tips from friends or from trading newsletters or groups, but they also have the ability to create their own trading applications and methods, so quite creative when it comes to that. And the last one is dominant water. So the emotional nurturers, intuitive psychic abilities, healers, counselors can act like sponges and absorb negativity. And this can cause depression from being overly sensitive, quite moody. Dominant water traders ride the waves of emotion. Panic can set in very easily, although if their intuitive awareness is in tune with the natural cycles of the market, they can make excellent traders. A need for a more structured mechanical system may ease the emotional ups and downs. Now, the amazing thing about using this signature grid is that you might find when you do your own chart is that you lack a certain element. So you might be low in water, and you might find that because you're low in it, you don't quite understand it, so you attract a lot of water signs in your life. Like your friends might be a Cancer, Pisces, or a Scorpio. You might find that you're naturally attracted to it because you need to learn from that element because you don't have it. And that can happen with our children and partners as well. So it's very much a psychological sort of balance when you lack an element. It's very interesting when you study it. Now, what I've done is actually applied the same sort of technique to studying the markets, which you can apply yourself. And what you need to do if you are interested in this is that you actually do need an ephemeris. So an ephemeris actually lists the planetary positions on a daily basis that astrologers use so that you can determine where the planets are. Now, if you want, on my website under resources, I actually have an ephemeris for next year that gives the daily positions of all the planets, and you can actually make a signature grid for each day. The only thing is you will not be able to use the ascendant midheaven, because if you're using a midday point or a midnight point, you shouldn't really include it unless you're a day trader and you really want to be looking at every hour. So you might just leave the ascendant midheaven out and just use the other planets and see how you go. So what I've done here is actually programmed an Aries signature on the S&P, and it's showing the when there's both cardinal and fire days in terms of the planetary energy. And so you can see that it shows that this peak here, and bringing it up because you would think the Aries signatures is bullish, a lot of fire and a lot of action, that it would make the market go up. And you can see, sorry my cursor's going everywhere, you can see how it's going up in that period and also declining in this period where it's showing there's not a lot of it, and again moving up slowly like this little ladder is going up into this zone. So it's quite a fertile area of research, and I do quite a bit of it myself, and I'm going to leave it up to you how far you want to take it.